Hey YouTubers, today I want to show you how to sharpen your ice auger blades, and it's very important that you do that once a year at least, depending on the amount that you use. And yeah, I finally decided to do this video. One of the viewers asked me to show them how I sharpen my blades. I've seen some videos out there and I wasn't very happy with the way they were sharpening, so I'm going to show you how I sharpen and what I use to sharpen, and it works amazingly well, so I recommend you use this technique. So first, try to purchase a stone sharpener. This one is a Japanese one. It's brand name King. And I use this for all my kitchen knives, and it works super well. So what this is it has a plastic holder, and then it has your stone. You have a rougher side on one end and a smoother side on the other. So basically you start with the brown part, which is a higher grit, and then you end up with the white side, or that's much smoother. So I use this for kitchen knives, and it works equally as well for your auger blades. So the first thing you want to do is obviously prepare all you need. So you're gonna need a small container of water that will fit your stone, Allen's key to loosen your machine screws to remove your blades. You cannot sharpen blades on an auger. You absolutely have to remove them. And then next step is to wet this for a good 15 minutes. So put it in a water bath and let it soak for 10 to 15 minutes. And as you see, it's starting to absorb water. This will take a good 10-15 minutes. And in the meanwhile, let's remove the blades. So to remove your blades, what you're gonna need is a hex key or Allen's key. And I recommend highly you wear gloves to do this, because the blades are very sharp. And then you just have to slowly loosen your machine screws. So this, in the previous time I sharpened it, I put some grease there to make sure that it doesn't rust. And a good habit is every time you finish ice fishing, you come home, it's to leave it in a dry environment. Let it dry completely before storing it. So remove your blades. Now the way I test to see if I sharpen enough or if it's dull and so on, you know, I take a piece of paper and I start trying to cut it. So as you can see, this blade is not too bad. It's still pretty sharp. However, you can improve the sharpness, because it's still like, you know, it's going well, but it could be much better than this. So, and it's important it's very sharp. Otherwise, you're gonna have a lot of trouble cutting through ice. When it's sharp, you're gonna be able to do almost like hair-thin pieces of paper cuts. See, when you're cutting, it shouldn't leave any fibers sticking out. It should be super, super sharp. So after 10-15 minutes, grab your stone, and you always want to work and make sure it's always wet. So be generous. Make sure not to put any contaminants here like oil. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quickly grab some ethanol paper towel and wipe out the oil from these blades. So it's very important to make sure you don't contaminate your stone, and the oil is a big no-no on the blade. So wipe it up with the dry towel first. And then I give it nice cleanness with the ethanol or alcohol. Any friction alcohol will do. And now the way you want to sharpen is you do not sharpen the flat side. You always sharpen the round edge. So now what you're going to do is you're going to hold it at an angle, and you're going to work this angle here. So it's not a big angle. I would say it's about 15-20 degrees. So you'll feel it, you know, when you're moving it back and forth, you'll feel what's the right angle. Hold it with 1 or 2 hands, and then start moving the blade in such a way that you go all around your blade. Here, you sharpen it. So you're gonna have to do this for a long time. It's a long job, but you're gonna end up with very good results. And because you do a little bit at a time, you cannot really damage your blade as opposed to going mechanical with a blade sharpener. So always wet your stone and keep on doing this. So I don't come towards the sharp end, but I move away from it. And then you're going to start seeing the metal deposit accumulating, and also it's going to start chewing up on your stone. So just keep on doing this for a while until you see that it's starting to become sharp, and you can test it with the paper. So I'm going to do this for a few minutes, and then I'll get back to you. So once you got it pretty sharp, you can finish up the job by going to the white side, which is like the finishing part. So don't jump on this right away. This is right at the end when you want to really give that last sharpness. And then you do the same thing here. This is really to finish up your job. This is not to give the initial sharpening. That has to be done through the brown side. This is just to finish up, to make sure it's extremely sharp right at the end. And then you can do a visual inspection to make sure that it's nice and sharp. And if that passes, then you can go try your paper test. So it's getting better, but it's not sharp enough yet, so I'm going to continue some more. So here, this is the unsharpened blade. This is the Sharpen. It's hard to see on the camera, but if you look, maybe you see a little bit, but you see some little dents in there. So all that on the Sharpen one, it's all gone. And I wanted to also tell you that the place you need to pay attention is right at the edge, the outer edge of the blade, and that's the part that gets the most stressed when you're making the holes. So this part will probably need a bit more work than the rest of the blade. So pay attention to this end here, and once it becomes very sharp on the white side, you can always go the flat side and just put it on the blade and move outwards, and then finish up the angled side, and that's gonna give you a nice sharp blade. And once this is over, you can go ahead, put a little bit of grease here and on your machine screws, so to prevent rust, and then mount it back on your auger. And this should help you make your holes much easier when you go ice fishing. So good luck on your project.